welcome to another episode here on my YouTube channel. My name is Aida, and I am so excited that you're here with me today because today I am going to share more about myself. And that way you can get to know me as I'm getting to know my community here on YouTube. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Whether you guys are here on a weekly basis or periodically checking my stuff, I really hope that you're finding it helpful and that it's serving you. And please, at any point, there's things that you would like to see or comments or feedback, please leave those in the comment section of this episode. I would love to hear from you, but thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. So for today's video, I have a series of questions that I'm going to be sharing with you all, and then answers to those questions. And that way you all get to know a little bit more about me, where I come from, how I got to this point, what my thoughts are on having a YouTube channel, and just more about what makes me me, and so you understand that a little bit more. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start with question number one. Grow up and talk about your journey thus far. Wow. Okay. So I was born in Madrid, Spain. I have one older brother. My parents are both from Spain. My mom, myself, and my brother are from Madrid. And then my dad is from La Coruña, which is northwest tip of Spain. It literally borders the Atlantic Ocean. And I lived there for 3 years. I was very little. I will say I have not a lot of recollection from living there, but since we left when I was so young, we would go back and visit every year. It's so funny. At one point, my mom tells me this story. I would tell people we weren't even going on vacation. I'd say we're going to Spain, like after we left Spain, we first moved to Canada. And I didn't even look at it as a vacation. It was just something that we did. Where to most, going to Spain every year since you were 3, that's a really solid vacation. And it's not that I took it for granted. It was just something that I grew up used to doing. So I thought that was really cool. Why is Spain so near and dear to your heart? Oh my gosh. I don't want to get emotional on this one already, but I think what I really love about Spain is the culture and the ability, like I feel like I'm home when I go, which sounds really silly to say because I left when I was 3, but it makes me feel like myself. I love the culture. Oh my gosh. Everything about the culture in Spain is just beautiful. There, the motto is not, you don't live to work, right? You're not working all the time. You're not in a hurry. People aren't eating at their desks trying to cram everything in a day. Like that culture is what made me who I am today. Both my parents are Spanish, like I said. And I think having that influence and just really loving where you come from, I think people have that pride of wherever it is. It's Spain for me, but it could be somewhere else for that person. How many countries and cities have you lived in? Well, I've lived in 3 different countries. I lived in Spain, then moved to Canada. I lived right outside Toronto in a city or a town called Oakville. I think it's more of a city at this point. It's really just boomed since my family and I left. And then when I was in the 4th grade, my parents told me and my brother that we were moving to Kentucky. And I immediately thought, the land of fried chicken. What? It was very shocking, and then we moved to Louisville, Kentucky. And then from there, I've moved around. I've lived in Tampa, I've lived in Fort Lauderdale, Charlotte, in Louisville, obviously. So I've been everywhere, and very different cultures in all these places. What are the top 3 lessons you've learned from living in 3 different countries, and how many cities along the way? Wow, top 3 lessons is enjoy your surroundings, I think will be lesson number 1. I think what you put into an experience like living in a new city is what you're gonna get out of it, right? And so, especially as an adult and moving somewhere new, it's not easy to make friends, but you have to put in the effort. Lesson number 2, I would say, is learning about the city that you're in. I think there's something beautiful to be said about any city that you live in. Every city has its quirks and its beauty, its uniqueness. So explore it. Whether exploring for you is like physically going on hikes and exploring the nature, or for someone like me, it's, you know, figuring out what the food scene looks like and where my favorite restaurants are and all of that. But taking the time to explore where you live, I think is really important. And then third is make human connections. Kind of to like add on to my first point, if you don't put in the effort to make those human connections, you're not gonna make a place feel like home, right? Your home could feel like home based off the furniture and how you have it set up to a degree, but somewhere is not going to feel like home until you make those connections and you have your people, right? And those people can be from that city, or they can be transplants like you, or you're from a city. And I think just always venture out and meet new people, because you never know who you're going to meet and how they're going to impact your life. So definitely step outside your comfort zone. What are your favorite hobbies? Wow. My favorite hobbies, one is definitely working out. I love working out first thing in the morning. I am a morning riser. My husband jokes with me and says, you know, he always wakes up alone because I love to get up early and just like seize the day. Those workouts typically consist of Pilates or bar, and I work out at home, so I don't have to go anywhere, so I can really kind of ease into my morning. Another hobby, I do love to cook and to host people in my home. Again, that kind of goes back to, you know, creating a place or making a place feel like home. It's inviting someone into your home, cooking for them. I love cooking for loved ones and friends and family, and I think, you know, that's part of the Spanish culture and what's inside me. Just experiencing new restaurants. I'm such a foodie at heart, and so my husband and I would say a hobby of ours is exploring new restaurants in Charlotte. Why am I so into fashion? Who inspired me? What does it mean to me? Honestly, I feel like there's always like a misconception. Fashion and style are used interchangeably, and really they're different. But I would probably state more style. Like, I love fashion and high fashion in the sense of like what's coming down a runway and what's kind of trendy for the season. What I love is style and, you know, putting your own personality on your clothes, learning to love your closet. I think when I'm thinking about fashion, a lot of times it's about trends, right? And I think trends are important, trends can be fun, but if you get too much into the weeds of trends, I think you lose yourself in that, right? You're so worried about like, what's the latest and greatest, what's everyone else wearing, and you don't spend enough time reflecting on your style. As I got closer to my 30s, and now that I'm like in my 30s, I think it's a form of finding true identity, and so I love that. I love playing around and starting to really think about, okay, what do I like? And maybe here's some thoughts for some inspo. That's really where, you know, my love for clothes and fashion and style came from, and how they kind of intertwined but are separate as well. Why are travel and food so important to me? Wow. It's part of the culture and it's so fun. I've always been curious about other cultures, other foods, and a lot of that is from living in different places. Like, there's always something to experience. There's always something different about where you live compared to somewhere else. And so I think that really sparked it. And travel is just fun, an experience, I think, and building and creating a memory is something I will always cherish. And I love doing that with my family and loved ones. And I especially love that my husband loves doing that. And I think we go on so many incredible trips together. And in turn, trying the food, I think that's super fun to do. And we can walk away knowing a little bit about the food. Do we like it? Do we not? Where does it come from? What are they known for? You know, having all those questions answered and just having that genuine curiosity, I think is really important. Where are your top 3 places that you travel to? Wow, top 3 places would have to be Mallorca. Mallorca, Spain. It's an island off the coast of where like Barcelona is. Went there for my honeymoon, just a very special place. Second will have to be Marrakesh in Morocco. Went there last year with my husband. It was actually incredible. And again, a place where you're stepping outside your comfort zone, new culture. Food was amazing. And third, I would have to say I really loved our trip to San Sebastian or San Sebastian, which is in the Basque region of Spain. It's such a cute little city. It's like the most Michelin restaurants per square footage. I highly recommend you go. Madrid's not on there because that's just, you know, just above everything. But I would probably say Mallorca, Marrakesh, and San Sebastian. What is your favorite meal restaurant that you've had? That's got to be one of these like food experiences that I talk about. My favorite meal that I've had to have been a couple years ago when we were celebrating, my husband and I were celebrating a 1-year anniversary. I surprised him with reservations to a 2-star Michelin restaurant in Madrid called Coque. And actually the head chef, he did our wedding. It was wonderful. So we needed to try his restaurant and it was incredible. I forget how many courses, I forget how many drinks that we had. It was amazing and definitely a core memory. What do you like to cook? And why do you love to host? I love to cook because I think it's my love language. I love putting time and effort into something that I'm gonna get to watch someone enjoy and really, you know, have a memory of my dish that I've made. Obviously, if it's good. If it's not, then like that's not good. And hosting is just mirroring, you know, that love language. Like, come into my home, let me feed you this delicious food and share laughs and memories. And I think, you know, that's what makes a home a home. I think the more you host, although some people find it stressful, it doesn't need to be like that. What has it been like living with lupus? Wow, what a question. Yes, so I have lupus. I was diagnosed in 2009. I was in high school, and I went through a series of medical challenges like leading up to that, and thankfully they were able to figure out what I had. Not to say I love living with lupus, but you know, as I grew older, I really, especially when I started living on my own, I was like, okay, you know, cut back on the drinking. I rarely drink nowadays, honestly. You know, getting good night's sleep is really important. And I think that's another reason why I'm like so into style and clothes and feeling good in what you're wearing and like wanting to share that with everyone and let them know like what clothes they have in their closet, like they can use and feel incredible in. Because one of the hardships of having lupus was when I was put on prednisone, I gained so much weight. Like, I was to a point I was unrecognizable. Like, I would wave at someone in the car, and later on I was like, so good to see you, and they're like, when did I see you? And I think that's impacted like a lot of things with body image and like how I see myself. So when I put on clothes that make me feel confident, I think just like really helps that inner child and like those like negative thoughts that everyone tries to filter through. Lupus is something where you can't tell someone has it unless it's like fully active, right? Like if you were to look at me at the beginning, like throughout my videos, you weren't gonna say she has lupus, right? Thankfully, I'm in remission. I do a lot of work and take medication every day for it. But I still live my life, and at times, you know, thankfully I forget because I do take very good care of myself, and my health is really important. So always prioritize health, right? What inspires me? Wow. My husband really came with a load of questions today. What inspires me? I think just curiosity and knowing there's like so many things out there to learn and things that you can achieve, and it's all about the mindset and the goals that you set for yourself. I think my family really inspires me. Like everything that I do, I think about them and what they've taught me, and just like wanting to build a wonderful life for them. What inspired you to get Pilates certified? What did you enjoy about teaching? So yes, I was a Pilates instructor, a reformer Pilates, and I was inspired to start teaching because in general, I love to teach. That's why a lot of my videos on my YouTube channel are educational. And low impact has been something I've really been into. It helps a lot with my lupus, right? I learned so much, and I think one of the things that inspires me is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And a lot of the times things that I do can be like super random, but it's because they are so uncomfortable for me, you know? And so teaching Pilates was very uncomfortable at first, and like knowing how to like cue and do the music and write classes, and like there's a lot that goes behind it, especially if you want to do it well. I think the connections I made with the people, and like when people will come up to me and say that was an amazing class, and they just feel empowered to take on the rest of the day, or they were able to shake off like any negativity from the day and just really zone in on the moves in the class, and I helped them do that. I think that was truly inspiring, and one of the reasons why I really loved it. What have you learned so far in your 4-month YouTube journey? Wow. Creating content is not for the weak, okay? Just to be very blunt, it is a lot of work. I'm still working on it. I would say I'm a very good public speaker, but I don't know what it is. Sometimes when I put that phone up, especially when I first started months ago, I could not have been more awkward. And it's hard, but it's so rewarding. It's, you know, whenever I have at least one person tell me, hey, I watched your video and it helped me do X, Y, Z, or I was inspired by this video when you recommended, you know, X, Y, Z, or you made me think about an outfit in a different way. Like that means so much to me. Let's be on this journey together of finding your own style, your own self-identity. You know, as I'm getting into my 30s, like I am really starting to come into my own. I think a lot of the times moving around, I learned to be adaptable, but maybe almost too much, where I kind of got lost in trying to blend in, and my name does not blend in either. And so I think this channel is also going to help me discover me, right? And who I am and who I want to be. And in return, like bring you along in that journey. And I'm so excited for that. And just thank you so much for joining in. All right, last but not least, we have the rapid fire section. What is your favorite city in the world? Madrid. What is your favorite podcast? Scrubbing In with Becca Tilley and Tanya Rad, by far. They're so funny. If you haven't listened to it, I encourage you. It will brighten your day every time. What is your favorite show? Law and Order SVU, or The Traitors here recently. That is an amazing show. Oh my goodness. I'm failing at these rapid fire questions, aren't I? What is your favorite movie? I am not a movie buff. Like, I rarely watch movies, so. I always love Remember the Titans. That's just a classic, right? What is your favorite concert you've attended? Wow. Honestly, this last year, my sweet neighbor gave my husband and I tickets to the Morgan Wallen concert, and it's crazy because I'm not like a country music girl. I like it, but it's not my favorite thing, and he just put on an incredible show. But anyways, moving on. Who is your dream celebrity to meet? Selena Gomez. Thank you for bringing awareness to lupus, and she is fabulous. Who is your dream collab on YouTube? Alejandra Pereira, 100%, my favorite Spanish influencer. She is incredible. Check her out. Talk about the epitome of style and fashion and just all the things. What is the most recent song that you listened to? Lose Control by Teddy Swims, because we just went to his concert this last weekend. What is your favorite dessert and from where? I have two. I don't even know, Spanish people will not count this a dessert, but I will because it's sweet. Churros con chocolate from San Ginés, which is like an iconic churros place in Madrid. They have different locations now around the world. I think they just opened one in Miami. And then my other favorite dessert is the Bass cheesecake from La Viña in San Sebastian. It is incredible. And that is a wrap on my Q&A and get to know me. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable, and I hope you found this video helpful and feel a little bit more connected, and maybe you found it inspiring, and hopefully you learned something from it. Like I said, please leave your comments below on videos that you would like to see from me in the future. In the meantime, I am so thankful that you'll be part of this journey with me, and just excited to see where this goes. So looking forward to it, and you have some really fun content coming your way. I'll talk to you later. Adios.